and we see that a lot here. Folks who start here and leave end up coming back because it has, a good feeling about it, and so it makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Well, we have been busy with the United Way campaign of late, and it seems like we just kicked it off, Mike, but it's been a while now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is. We kicked off this past September, but there's a lot that's been happening over the last month or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in fact, Rebecca sent me an email and said, I want to talk about United Way, and I didn't even ask you why. So you're passionate about it. We know that.
Very much so. This United Way campaign has been, I think, one of the more fun ones that we've had, just because there's some competitive spirit out there, but also because we know, the number of people in our community that access the programs that the United Way supports, and we see it almost daily in the interactions we have with our residents who come to utilize city services, and a lot of times we make the connections with the programs that United Way supports. So it's almost like it's a collaborative partnership that we have, and without each other, neither one of us would be as successful as we have been. Mm-hmm. And so we see just the basic needs that people are short, that they don't have access to, or that, they're working, but they just can't get to that point where they can meet their food and their health care and their transportation and their daycare needs. All these things the United Way programs touch. And so I'm passionate about it. I've been involved in United Way campaigns since probably 2000 in 3 different counties, and it's the same. The people at the United Way and the programs that they support touch so many people's lives, and I'm glad that myself and our organization is part of changing the story this year.
All right, and so Rebecca's setting the tone there, and in a second we'll pick up where she leaves off on WBCK 813. 8:15 WBCK. We're here with City Manager Rebecca Fleury and Mike Larson, President, Chief Executive of the United Way here in Southwest Michigan. Mike, the tone that Rebecca has about United Way, even though she says she's been involved for a number of years, seems like it's amped up this year for some reason. Are you getting that?
Yeah, it is. It is, and we're fortunate to have people like Rebecca providing leadership to our campaign. She actually serves as our campaign vice chair, supporting Derek King as our chair of this year's campaign. And literally, we have hundreds of people out in our communities helping run campaigns, rallying the troops, having a lot of fun and excitement about giving back to their community through United Way. And it's been fun to watch it happen.
So for those who might not, maybe they hear the name United Way, but they don't necessarily know what the connection is it fair to say the United Way ends up being a fiduciary to services that help people? I mean, it's sort of a gateway.
I think that's a big part or role of United Way. It's critical because people sometimes don't know how to give back to their community, and United Way serves as a wonderful vehicle to assure that their gifts are invested back in the community and are impacting people that live right here. But I'd also recognize that we bring expertise and leadership and relationships in a community that bring people together. So our relationships with the business community around campaign are critical. Mm-hmm. But we have relationships with our schools, the nonprofits, government organizations. And by bringing them to the table, we can identify what are the greatest needs and what is the best approach to addressing issues in our community.
So how does the city, and in particular the city manager, fit into this goal here?
Well, as you said, I'm serving as the vice chair, supporting the chair, Derek King, this year. But it's also, there's a bit of a cheerleading, I think, that a city manager can do. And so I'm going out with the help of United Way staff and with the help of our co-chairs within our city. That would be Chief Jim Blacker and Chief Dave Schmaltz. We're going out to all of our departments to talk about the United Way, to talk about why we think that they should consider supporting the United Way in their programs, and then how it affects us as city employees, but also as residents in our community in the greater Battle Creek, Kalamazoo arena. Mm-hmm. And so that I think that's what we can do. The other thing I can do is also we are involved in a challenge with the city of Kalamazoo.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so there's where the competitive comes in. So
and she is competitive.
Well, and so is city manager Jim Ritzema. I will say that we both have that little competitive bug. So what we're trying to do, and that's just fun, we talk about that, and I joke with my staff about, it's mandatory that we don't lose, all that kind of stuff. But
no pressure.
No pressure. But really, it's the United Way that wins in this competition. It doesn't matter which community wins, although I do hope it's Battle Creek, and I'll plug that every time I get a chance. But it's the United Way that wins when we get more people participating in the campaign, and that's what it's all about. For our the competition between the cities, City of Kalamazoo and City of Battle Creek, it's not about the dollars raised, it's about the participation. Because the more we get the word out to our employees about how important it is to be a participation in the United Way campaign, I think that, again, the United Way wins and our communities win because we rely on the programs that they provide, greatly. We talk about the fact that just the utility needs, we provide the water and sewer services for the city, and sometimes people just can't meet those basic needs, and so we have to connect our residents with the United Way programs to hope that they get the support that they need to make sure that gets taken care of. But so it's a % of participation challenge between the two cities, and again, I think the overall winner in that is the United Way. However, nobody wants to be the losing team because there are some consequences that I certainly don't want to have to.
Oh, consequences.
Yeah, so would you like me to share those?
Yes,
Richard?
please do.
Okay, so the losing city has to appear on the float of the winning city in their holiday parade, dressed as however they choose.
Oh, boy.
And then that's number one. And then number two is that they have to attend the other city's commission meeting dressed as that community's, city manager or police and fire chief, and issue a proclamation congratulating them on their win.
Wow. So if we don't win,
we will win.
Okay, so when we win,
Thank you.
let's
That's
just put
better.
it that
That's
way.
better. When we win.
Ritzum is going to have to wear your dress or something.
Yes.
I see. And Blocker will be all suited up and
in a public safety uniform.
In a public safety uniform.
And I've also heard something about an elf costume.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Mike, is this unusual?
It is, but we love the energy and the fun. Actually, we have a number of different challenges going on, fun challenges going on between companies because, United Way's campaign can actually kind of build some team energy within organizations if you do it the right way. And some little healthy competition never hurts that. At the same time, what they're doing for our community is huge. So thank you.
We'll come back in a minute and talk more about this and find out where you get an elf costume. I don't know where that is. We'll find out. All right, 823 WBCK. We're talking about the United Way campaign locally with our city manager, Rebecca Fleury, and Mike Larson, the president, CEO of the United Way here in Southwest Michigan. So, yes, competitions and all levity aside, this is a very important work, Mike. And interestingly, part of what goes on here is advance work, pace setters, and community organizing of funds before you even start.
Right. The dollars that we raise, and they're significant dollars, and they're critical to what the mission of our organization is, and that is about people and helping people. And how we do that is take those resources, we leverage our relationships in the community. We have literally hundreds of volunteers that engage with us to make decisions on how do we invest this back so it's changing, making sure that every child has the opportunity to be successful in life, that every individual and family has the opportunity to be financially stable, and that every person has access to quality health and mental health services, and those basic needs of life that just kind of carry you through day to day. So we're focusing on those types of things. So we're making sure that kids start school ready to learn. We want to make sure that they're reading by third grade because we know they're 4 to 6 times more likely not to stay in high school or graduate if they're not reading at third grade reading proficiency. We're making sure kids have food when they start their day so they can learn. I mean, it's just basic things like that are critical for kids and families to be successful in life. And that's how we invest those resources back. We're making sure that they're impactful, they're measurable, making sure they're making a difference.
And, Rebecca, you alluded to this a minute ago, that when city workers are encountering residents who need assistance, to be able to say, okay, we would direct you in this direction to this program for this assistance that helps you meet your needs. If that weren't there, you'd have someone standing in front of you that you would feel like you couldn't help.
Correct. And, I think we use less resources when we partner with the Organization of the United Way and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really a partnership. And, yes, it would be very helpless to stand in front of a resident to say, I have nowhere to send you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't have that problem. We do have the agencies that United Way supports in our community to be able to send them for assistance.
So, Mike, in Battle Creek, some of the advanced work and work as employees has happened at various companies here. They actually get together and help their employees help you, right?
Yeah. We've got we got hundreds of campaigns going on right now, but we just had a big one announce the reaching their goal, and that would be the Kellogg Company.
Mm-hmm.
And employees of the Kellogg Company reached $2.9 million, which was huge.
Boy, and that is simply by virtue of employees who say, I'm going to give some of my earnings to United Way, and maybe Kellogg makes it easier for them to do that.
Yeah. I think, many of our companies see the benefits of United Way, and they support us with a corporate gift. But the key is creating the opportunity for your employees to give back. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you have to force or strong arm. It's just create the opportunity. Through payroll deduction, it makes it really easy to give $1 or $2 a week. And when you add that with your coworker, with all your team in your organization, and then the rest of the community, it makes a huge difference in our community.
Mm-hmm. And when you do that payroll deduction, you don't even see it.
Yeah.
It's so
Cup
much
of coffee a week.
Yeah, right. Okay, campaign vice chair there, make the appeal here before we go.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Well, we just ask everybody to get out there and be involved in the United Way campaign this year. If you haven't seen some of the wonderful videos that have been put together, go out to the website, changethestory.org. Changethestory.org, and you can there's a wealth of information out there about, not just why you should be a part of it, but why it helps build a stronger community.
All right, we'll leave it right there. Rebecca Fleury, Mike Larson, thanks to the both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk again soon. 8:20.